Hello, this is Edgar Shane again talking about remote production over the internet with new JVC PTZ cameras. Some of you may already remember my previous presentations about REMI, but today we will show you not only PowerPoint as always in this webinar, but we will also show you live demo of remote production, and you will see remote feeds from California and from Pennsylvania, and I will explain how it works with new JVC PTZ cameras. As you may remember from my previous webinars, we are talking about JVC Connected Cam series of cameras specifically designed for remote production over the internet, which is abbreviated REMI. And we have JVC 500 and 550 handheld series camcorders and JVC 900, our flagship 2/3-inch 3-chip camera, which is also configurable in studio, all equipped with the integrated SRT encoders. So with a simple push of the button, cameras can send video over the internet. We're not talking about sending high quality, broadcast quality video transport over the internet to the decoder or directly to NewTek TriCaster or vMix switchers equipped with the SRT receivers. And as many times I presented about our camcorders, customers always ask me, do we have the same integration with the PTZ cameras? Because obviously PTZ camera allows you to be completely remote. You don't even need to send cameraman on location. And now we're talking about new addition to our connected cam family, KY-PZ200 and KY-PZ400 PTZ cameras equipped with the SRT encoders, supporting NDI HX, of course, featuring JVC codec, which allows to send video out at the low bit rates while still maintaining high quality, integrated error correction, VTC time synchronization for multiple streams, many things. And like I said, today we will talk about these features. We'll explain all details in this webinar, but we will also go to live demonstration very soon, so please stay with us. We are introducing two base models, KY-PZ200 and 400, each available in black and white. And also there are some differences in functionality depending on the suffix in these models, but they all feature three very important technologies: NDI, SRT, and JVC codec. And this is all allows to use these cameras very successfully in REMI, remote production over IP applications. We will talk about features and all details after live demonstration. And first of all, but just a few details I will throw in right now so we all understand all the basics. So first of all, NDI and NDI HX. It's hard to underestimate the significance of NDI protocol, video over IP protocol introduced by NewTek, the member of this RT group. NDI allows connecting cameras to the same exact local area network, which you have all other equipment connected, all computers, servers, printers, which means you don't have to install additional routing, additional cabling. So it allows for very efficient and very affordable, actually, workflows. And it gives you a freedom of bringing content from anywhere in the same building, on the same campus. If you think of college campuses, you can have multiple buildings, sports facilities, auditoriums, and they're all on the same LAN. As long as they're all on the same LAN, you can have studio in one building or maybe on the one floor of the multi-story building, and then you can have sources at another buildings, and all these video streams and audio streams and PTZ controls will be possible via the same exact corporate LAN, which is always in place and which is installed everywhere. So NDI works great over LAN, and there are millions of people who use it every day. But what if you need to have cameras truly remotely, not on the same LAN and maybe not even at the same location, but let's say cameras are in San Diego and Los Angeles and studio is in New Jersey. That's what we'll be demonstrating today in a minute from now. In that case, using just regular protocols which are not designed for the internet may be problematic, because internet being a public network, there's always data loss. Sometimes we call it packet loss, because information is packetized. There's congestion, it's intermittent speed, up and down fluctuations, and also there's a jitter. Jitter is a variable delay where packets or data doesn't arrive on time, which is not a big deal when you're browsing internet, because you can think of just web page sometimes it's loading a little bit slower. But for live video, data loss and congestion are fatal. And every time you see artifacts like this, pixelization like this on your on the output of your decoder or in your video mixer, this is packet loss. And packet loss, in order to overcome this issue of the internet, you need to be using the protocols which are specifically designed to deal with these conditions. And that's where secure, reliable transport SRT protocol introduced by Haivision comes in very handy. SRT protocol was designed from day one to be used over unpredictable public networks where you have no control of speed, congestion, or latency and jitter. SRT features multiple tools to overcome these issues. First of all, there's a forward error correction. There is repeat request error queue, where actually the receiver, which is your switcher or your decoder, actually instructs camera to resend lost packets, and they will be inserted to compensate for whatever was lost. And there's also adaptive bitrate, which would reduce bitrate if no other method compensates for a packet loss. There's this variety of tools which are always used in combination with each other to assure that despite of all these problems of the internet, you always have perfect video in your video inputs of your switcher. Integrated SRT encoders in each camera give you tremendous freedom of your production. You don't need to bring all your video switchers, audio mixers, all equipment at each location. You can be using cameras only, connected directly to the internet, and studio can be somewhere else, like what we will be demonstrating in a moment from now. And of course, I don't need to tell you about which applications will benefit from this workflow, but of course it's government, education, medical, sports. We have many customers who use our handheld and shoulder cameras in this workflow today. So there's a new addition to this family and new tool which adds also remote PTZ control. So now you can be completely remote and you can do live production without going on each location all the time. But like I said, today I'd like to jump to live demo right away because I know you like live demonstrations. And for this live demo, I actually prepared, I call them REMI kits, little kits, which I sent out to my colleagues in San Diego, California, Los Angeles, California, and also in Pennsylvania. And this kit, each kit actually includes JVC KY-PZ400, lavalier microphone with a small preamplifier. And the reason I sent this, because typically you would have audio mixer on location, but if you're using just one microphone only, you would need to have preamp because cameras accept audio at line level input. And also I included a small VPN adapter, because what I'd like to do, I'd like to be able to control those cameras behind firewalls. I don't want to ask my colleagues to do any change to their network because in many cases it may be not possible. So this VPN adapter allows to control cameras behind firewalls. Each camera is preset in the SRT caller mode, which means that each camera will be pushing SRT transport to the IP address of my studio. So my studio has a public IP address, it's fixed, so each camera is programmed to send stream right to that IP address. Ports are different for each camera because that's how video switcher will differentiate one camera from another. Each camera stream is sent on different port. All streams are set to 1920 by 1080 60p HVC codec at 4 megabit. With these kits received and being set up, what we have for this demonstration, we have one camera KY-PZ400 in San Diego, California, at the home office of Alicia Reed, our regional sales manager. Camera is connected to the VPN adapter. VPN adapter is plugged directly into the internet connection. In Allentown, Pennsylvania, we actually have two cameras, KY-PZ400 and KY-PZ200, connected to the same VPN adapter. You can connect multiple cameras to these VPN adapters, and also direct connection to the internet. What I have here in New Jersey in my studio, I have vMix video switcher, and I also have local KY-PZ400 connected to my vMix via NDI HX. All cameras are sending 1080-60p HEVC streams and 4 megabit. In order for our participants in San Diego and Allentown to see bidirectional video, to talk to me, to see me, we are actually taking advantage of vMix capability to send, vMix can send out up to 4 SRT returns. And to receive this return, all you need to do is just to open VLC player on your computer and enter SRT address of the studio, and now you'll be receiving a return. We're using 2 returns, and the reason we're using 2 returns because each return features mix minus audio mix, which means that San Diego will be receiving everybody's audio but not San Diego, and Allentown is mixed in the same way. And as a result, we have these 3 feeds which are remote and 1 feed which is local. And I can see my colleagues Alicia and Dwayne. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hello.
Hi Edgar.
I will start from myself, and I will explain that I have here is KY-PZ400 connected to my video switcher via NDI HX. Being PTZ camera, it is convenient because now I can show you the wide angle view of my office, and with a click of the mouse on my video switcher, I can go to the remote to the close-up of the camera, which we're talking about here, and get back to the standard webinar view. And I can do it from 2 places. I can control it directly from vMix or TriCaster, having presets, or I can actually have remote controller, which is JVC RMLP100, which is also here in my office, and that's why I can use a joystick for these controls just like this, or I can also use presets on the remote controller as well. But this is just my local camera, and I guess there's nothing new about using local camera in the studio. What is the most exciting is that we have remote feeds, and we'll start from Alicia Reed, and this camera in her office in San Diego is no less than 3,000 miles away from my home office. Hi Alicia, how are you doing? Tell us what you have in your office.
Sure. So I received one of the kits from Edgar, which contained the camera and a VPN adapter and a mic preamp, so I get audio too. And I just need to connect these to my regular internet. I get about 11 megabits upload speed with standard internet, so I'm not paying for anything fancy. And with the hookup of the JVC KY-PZ400 4K camera, I have that on a tripod about 3 feet away from me. You can see the amazing image quality that you get, and it gives you a beautiful wide shot. So if I was maybe working for a company that was doing some corporate training, maybe they have multiple offices and they periodically need a speaker to join into video productions, this is the perfect way to do it because I just have the camera here, and as a speaker, I don't have to control it. I'm going to be hands-free, and Edgar's going to show you how he can move it around from New Jersey. And he can either be using his switcher, he can be using the RMLP 100 controller that he mentioned earlier. He could also use a GUI interface, or I even have a physical little remote control that I can use to adjust it myself if I want to. But it gives you that flexibility so the speaker doesn't have to be technical, they don't have to worry about doing any of the production work, just again hooking everything up to their internet. And if we're doing a product shot, you can get a wonderful 12 by optical zoom with the JVC KY-PZ400. It's really nice if you have to do any kind of product shots, beauty shots. And then again, Edgar can control it remotely depending on what he wants to do.
Thank you, Alicia. That's pretty amazing to be able to control cameras with that simple, that far away. In Pennsylvania, we have no less than 2 cameras actually in Dwayne Kersey's home office. Hi, Dwayne. Could you tell us about your setup, please?
Sure. Hi, Edgar. Hi, Alicia. Good to be here with both of you. Yeah, Edgar, I have 2 of our new PTZ cameras. The frontal camera, the one that I'm looking into now, is a KY-PZ400, same as the one Alicia has. This one is about 10 feet away from me, and it's producing beautiful images. But to my left is another version of this camera. It's a KY-PZ400. Now this one is sitting about 3 feet away from me, but they're both are hooked up to the VPN adapter that we talked about earlier and connected to my internet. And my internet speed is about 25 megabits upload. Both of these cameras are streaming at 4 megabits per second, and they're using the SRT protocol. And as you can see, the image is SDI quality, no less than SDI quality. I mean, it really looks good. I think you got a beauty shot dialed up here, Edgar, of some flowers. Let's see if we can bring that in, just to give you an idea of the color reproduction and the sharpness that the KY-PZ400 can produce. It's really quite amazing. And, you know, I'm usually a technical guy, but with Edgar looking after everything about my camera setup in New Jersey, I mean, I really don't have to do anything. All I have to do is stick to my script and look for the LED tallies on the camera so that I'm looking into the right one.
Thank you, Dwayne. That's quite amazing, actually, to be able to do it all remotely. And this is definitely the future of production, and we have many customers who are looking for this workflow. And these were cameras in San Diego and Allentown connected via the internet, sending SRT streams to my video switcher here in New Jersey. But wait, that's not it. I have actually one more camera. We sent another camera for the installation at Long Beach Marina in Los Angeles. And unfortunately, installation is not complete right now, so camera is just sitting at the dock. But I still want to be able to, I hope I can show you that stream as well. That installation is a little different. Instead of using wired internet connection, this camera is connected to the wireless internet using wireless internet service provider. And for that purpose, instead of using small Soho VPN adapter, this camera has Peplink device connector. It's a small box which actually combines 2 functions. First of all, it features Wi-Fi as a WAN connectivity, so it can connect to facility Wi-Fi. And also it features secure outgoing VPN, so I can control this camera from my studio in New Jersey. And this is especially convenient because think of wireless internet service provider, all these multiple wireless links. To be able to forward ports in these conditions would be virtually impossible. But with the secure outgoing VPN, I can still control this camera remotely. So let's see if I can see. It looks like this input is live here right now. So let's see if I can bring it in. So this is KY-PZ400 at the Los Angeles Marina, and I can control this camera as well using zoom in and out and pan controls. Let me bring a little low third here so you know what's going on. And this is KY-PZ400. You can see the wide angle, you can see the telephoto. The weather is a little bit foggy here today, but you can still see the image quality, you can see the resolution at full telephoto and wide angle. I think image holds pretty good because water is very difficult. And it's again HEVC at 4 megabit only. Send SRT stream, sent over wireless connection to the internet. And let's see if maybe I can just pan a little bit here to give you another view. We have people on the dock, so I didn't want to pan around because otherwise we have to collect model releases. So anyway, this was KY-PZ400 live from Long Beach Marina, connected to the internet using wireless internet service provider. And finally, it's time to give you more details about which models are available and what is the difference between different models in this new JVC PTZ cameras lineup. KY-PZ400 and KY-PZ200 base models, each available in black and white version. KY-PZ400 features wide-angle lens and 12 times optical zoom with 16 times digital extension. KY-PZ400 is also capable of UHD up to 30p. It is equipped with a 4K sensor. KY-PZ200 features Full HD 1080p sensor with 20 times zoom with up to 16 times digital extension as well. Two models feature NDI HX, and there are also two models without N suffix, which there's no NDI HX for those models. And you can save about $200, I would imagine, if you don't need NDI, and let's say you're using those cameras for remote installations only with SRT. All models, regardless of with NDI or without, feature SRT integrated protocol, JVC and H.264 codecs, 3G SDI and HDMI outputs. In case of PZ400, HDMI can be up to UHD 30p. 82.3 AF PoE, so it's not even PoE plus, it's regular PoE, up to 12 watts. SRT for REMI, and also each camera is equipped with RTMP, RTMPS protocol, so you can send video directly to Facebook Live, Vimeo, YouTube, Twitch, or any CDN which supports RTMP. You can look through this table later by pausing the slide, but obviously you see the difference in sensor sizes and 4K and HD sensors, 12 times 20 times optical zoom, UHD or 1080 60p, NDI HX, and otherwise integrated SRT and RTMP, RTMPS in all cameras. KY-PZ200 also has interesting function which is called USB webcam. You can use this camera as your webcam connecting directly to USB 3.0 on your computer. Control. Since these are PTZ cameras, that obviously not only sending video transport over the internet is important, but also getting back to the camera to control this camera. These cameras can be controlled using three different protocols, NDI, VSCO over IP, and JVC Web API. The moment you connect these cameras to local LAN and you access the streams from NewTek, TriCaster, or vMix using NDI, you can control cameras immediately. VSCO over IP can be used for remote production with third-party controllers, or same NewTek, TriCaster, and vMix support VSCO over IP as well. And there is also JVC RMLP100 remote controller featuring JVC proprietary Web API control protocol. JVC Web API is unique. It allows to control cameras over the internet at different IP locations, and you can also program it to work with different port numbers, which allows to control cameras at multiple locations from single remote control at your studio. The same functionality can be also achieved using Chrome browser as well, by using Web GUI of each camera. RMLP100 can access not only PTZ controls, but also focus, exposure, iris, gain, shutter, and white balance. And again, it can do it over the internet, so you can be adjusting all these parameters for cameras all over the world connected to this remote via the internet. And remote can memorize up to 99 unique IP addresses with unique port numbers for this application. There's also Tally input, which can be connected to traditional switchers like Roland and Ross, and it will convert close contact into web command and send it over LAN or the internet to activate Tally on KY-PZ400. Let's talk about controlling devices over the internet for REMI applications. Every time you are connecting via the internet, you're always dealing with a firewall, because each device is typically at each location is protected by a local firewall. When you have cameras installed on location sending SRT out in the SRT caller mode, this stream goes through the firewall no problem, because it looks like a standard web call when you browse in the internet. So the video streams will reach your video mixer immediately, so you'll see that video. However, trying to control these cameras back and sending commands back for PTZ control will immediately bump into the firewall, and that's the purpose of firewall, to protect devices behind it. In order to be able to get to those cameras, there are two methods. First of all, if you have access to this internet router, or you can work with the local IT department, you can request to open ports. And like I said, JVC RMLP100 controller can be programmed for any port, for any camera, unique ports. Each port is different for each camera. And as long as these ports are forwarded to the local IP addresses of these cameras behind firewall, you can use RMLP100 to control these cameras over the internet. And like I said, this controller allows to control not only PTZ, but also focus, exposure, and other parameters of the camera. However, in many cases, forwarding ports is not an option because it's either impossible or it's very difficult. And for that purpose, we recommend using secure outgoing VPN installed between cameras and the firewall. And of course, you can use any VPN of your choice running on the computer or something else. But we have very good success with a long partner of ours, Peplink, and they manufacture small, secure VPN routers. The models are Peplink Surf Soho and Peplink Balance series of routers, and they're very affordable. And when you place, and this is just hardware device, you don't need to access it while it's programmed. If you send it out and it's installed between cameras and the firewall, this device will immediately, upon being powered on, establish secure VPN connection with a similar router at the studio. And this way you can have access to the camera behind firewall without necessity to open any ports. And this is exactly what we use today in our live demonstrations in San Diego, Los Angeles, and Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's where we deployed Surf Soho VPN adapters, and cameras are connected to this adapter LAN connector, so you can connect multiple cameras. And the WAN connector on the this adapter is plugged right into the existing internet connection, which means you can have this set up at anywhere, at hotel conference room, at corporate office, any public space, as long as internet is available. You don't need to forward any ports. This device will immediately establish outgoing VPN connection with the corresponding router at your studio. And single router in the studio can support multiple devices in the field. And example would be Balance 20 model, can support 2 peers out of the box. 3 more peers can be added with the extra license, and Peplink manufactures the whole lineup of those routers, which can support up to 1,000 peers. So feel free to go to peplink.com to see that equipment. And it works really well with JVC KY-PZ400 and 200 cameras. Well, that's about it. I'd like to remind you that today in this webinar, we were talking about JVC Connected Cam series of cameras designed for remote production over the internet, featuring integrated SRT encoders. And this includes our handheld cameras JVC 500, 500 SPC, which can actually overlay live score in the picture, and JVC 550 with the integrated wireless connection. Our flagship JVC 900 3-chip 2/3 inch camera shoulder or studio configuration, and just recently added KY-PZ200 and 400 PTZ cameras, RMLP100 remote controller, and we also offer BRD900 decoder, which can receive SRT and output 3G SDI if your switcher doesn't support video over IP. And in addition to all of this, we also have BREM900 encoder, which can receive 3G SDI. Let's say the source of video is not from the lens. We understand that. And in that case, we can offer BREM900 encoder. This is high-end encoder, which can encode up to 10-bit 422 HEVC, also featuring SRT protocol. So this is the complete ecosystem for your, pretty much for all your needs for remote production over the internet with JVC equipment. Well, that's about it. Thank you very much, and we will look at your questions after this webinar. And also feel free to post questions in the comments of the YouTube for this video, and you can also see my email. I will be happy to communicate with you and help you with the remote production over IP setup. That said, thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.